Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 2nd of November 2018. So welcome everyone, welcome to this last trading day, trading afternoon of this week. So yep, I do apologize for the late start. My colleague was running his video, so had to kind of delay mine a little bit. So yep, but now we've managed to get back on track. But as always in this video and this session, we're going to have a look at the markets, how they're performing today, what maybe to look out for next week. So yep, we're going to have a look at a few charts. But before we start looking at that, let's have a read through quickly through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay guys, not to waste any more of our time, and let's jump quickly into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on is the S&P. Now I was looking at this one yesterday and I was talking about this potential area here, this potential break of this level right here at around 27.11. So of course we managed to get a nice push here away from that, and we kind of never dropped below this downside resistance line that the index kind of managed to break here on Wednesday. So the only problem we're seeing here today is this area of resistance near the 200 EMA and the 21 EMA. Both of those, all of them are coinciding with this 2753 zone. So this is something that we're going to keep a close eye on today, because in a way, if this is going to stay here below that, then well, it could be a little warning signal here for the bulls. Maybe the bears could take advantage of that one and push this index back down again. But again, this is what we're gonna keep a close eye on, this 2753 zone, because a nice good break above that could potentially open the path towards much higher levels. But as you can see, for now the index is struggling to overcome this barrier. But if we eventually do that, then, and especially if we're gonna get a nice close above this level, then we could expect this index to travel higher next week, potentially aiming for the 2800, the psychological 2800, or even all the way here towards, let me just adjust this level slightly here, towards the 2815 zone, approximately there, or 2816. You can put it here a little bit higher, but nevertheless around this area, this could be the next potential area of resistance. So but for that to see, we would need to get this nice good close above this 2753 zone. So for now, be very cautious today. Keep your eyes on this level. On the downside, if suddenly this drops below the 2711, still we would be slightly above this the steep downside resistance line that was broken on Wednesday, as I've mentioned. But to be honest, if this suddenly gets back below this line here, the 2692, in a way we could actually start ignoring this line then, because this line no longer would be relevant here. Let me just kind of get rid of it for now. So basically what we could look at here is a possible opening towards lower levels. So in a way, if this is going to get broken, and this 2692 zone has been marked by the lows of the 28th of June, so in a way this could, like I said, open the path towards the 2637, marked by the good area of support here that we saw around the 30th of October, or to be more specific, this Tuesday. And if that doesn't hold, well, further declines could be possible. But of course, for now we're kind of a bit away from that. So what we need to keep focusing here on is the 2753 zone, and especially because given the fact that it's close to this 200 EMA, and in a way, if this is going to continue to hold, if it's going to continue holding the price down, then I mean it probably well, it could look bad for the index. But of course, let's not get ahead of ourselves. For now, all eyes are on this. All eyes on the 2753. Let's see how that performs here. But again, like I said, if this starts falling towards the 27.11 and then eventually you get a break below this, then keep your eyes on the 26.92, approximately there. And again, a break below these two levels could potentially open the path towards much lower areas of support. So for now, the 27.53, remember that one. Silver. This is another good one here, and the same as gold. And I was talking about gold this morning as well, and I was telling you that basically gold managed to push back itself up here, and we can see silver here did the same thing yesterday, managed to push here and test the 1480, managed to break above it, closed above it, and also tested the next good area of resistance at around, actually it broke the 1470 and tested the 1480, but now you can see it's pushing higher here above this 1480, and it's quite not far from the 14.9911, something like that, so just slightly above the 14.90. So this is what we're going to keep on monitoring, because as you probably are aware, this is not far from the psychological 15 level. Now, probably this is the most important level to keep an eye on, because it's also not far from this 100 EMA. So in a way, if this gets broken, if the 15 level, the psychological 15 level gets broken to the upside here, now this is where it could become more interesting for the bulls in the near term, where then it kind of opens the path here towards higher levels, and specifically towards this 200 EMA that we've got shown here as the black line on our daily chart. So in a way, there is some good potential for this one to travel higher, especially going towards this 200 EMA, but probably for us to be more on the cautious side here, and kind of to be, let's say, more to be safe than sorry here, we will probably wait until this gets above the 15 zone. So for now, of course, keep your eyes on the 1490. We're still slightly below that. Of course, it's trying to push itself above it, but let's see how that performs today. And if we do get a continuation here, and if we do get a pop above the 1490, then yep, like I said, the psychological 15 level is the one to watch. On the downside, well, for us to, let's say, start looking at lower levels here, certainly we would need to see this one dropping back below this upside, now tentative upside support line, the short-term tentative upside support line. And also, if we would get a nice close below the 1420, let me just actually adjust this now level here a little bit to mark the low, so approximately around the 14.215 area, something like that. So a nice good close below that could open the path towards these lower levels here, could open initially, of course, the path towards the lowest point of September, which was marked here near the 13.95. but again the downside is slightly off the table right now, and it seems that it wants to continue pushing higher. So, and like I said, I'll repeat myself, let's see how the 14.90 acts today. If it continues to hold, then this move here higher could be, or the move towards the 15 level could be left for next week. So for now, be very careful in this one, and continue monitoring it. Jumping into Aussie Yen, now this is a good one here, and basically I was talking about this one yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, it doesn't matter, but the most important, what matters is that we're seeing this nice pop here to the upside today. As you can see, the pair managed to test the 81.93 zone. I had this one marked here as the high of the 3rd of October. So as you can see, it managed to reach this here. Certainly, looking at this, I mean, we could see this one continuing pushing higher, maybe going into next week. The only problem here, well, or should I say maybe issue here, is this little downside resistance line, guys. So probably very important one. Keep your eyes on that one, because if we're going to get another attempt here to test the 81.93 zone, or should I say the today's highs, if this gets broken, this potentially could, like I said, place the pair above as well. Of course, automatically would place the pair above this downside resistance line, and this is where we could then target the next area of resistance around 80. 82.50, something like that. So keep your eyes on this one. This is basically going to be our level here to be on the safe side for the upside. If we're going to get a nice break here above the 81.93, this is where we're going to target then the 82.50. But from the long-term perspective, for us to kind of get comfortable with this one traveling higher in the long term, we would need to get a nice good break here above this 82.50, and only then, like I said, we'll get comfortable with higher levels. But for now, let's see how this level performs. If actually today we're going to get another test of that, to which, to be honest, I highly doubt, but this could stay somewhere around here between the 81.30 here and this 81.93 zone. If it does stay here somewhere around this area, then all eyes are on next week, and we'll see how this performs around this downside resistance line. If this suddenly, let's say, drops below the 81.30, now this could be a bit of a warning sign here for the bulls, because this could potentially lead towards a little bit of reversal here to the downside. We could then aim for lower levels. Certainly jumping into a 4-hour chart on this one, we could look at something like this. Basically, we could look at this steep upside, short-term upside support line, which could in a way get tested if we get below the 81.30, excuse me, 81.30, and this is all eyes are going to be on down, because in a way, if this is going to hold, if this short-term upside support line is going to hold, then we could see the bulls stepping in again and potentially charging this one, and yeah, maybe we could see another test of this downside resistance line again. But this is a bit of a kind of jumping ahead of myself a little bit, but nevertheless could be a possible scenario. So for now, for today, guys, keep your eyes on the 81.30, and of course keep your eyes on the 81.93 in case we suddenly get a strong reversal here back to the upside. So it's a very interesting pair. It had a nice run this week. Let's see if it actually maintains this run next week as well. Jumping into euro dollar. Euro dollar is also an interesting one here today, even though it's not advancing as much as it did yesterday. Still, this is a daily chart, by the way, and still we're stuck here near the 114.30 zone. So in a way, this level here becomes quite an important one to watch, and if we're going to get a nice close here above that level on the daily candle here, then yep, there could be a potential for an uprise here next week. We could see this one traveling higher, but to be honest, for now, keep your eyes on this 114.30 today. In a way, this is where the pair could continue trading around, and if it continues to hold here below, and if it closes below the 114.30, now then next week potentially we could see something like a bit of retracement here going in maybe into the beginning of the week, and from where we could then test the downside resistance line. This kind of tentative downside resistance line could get tested from above. And then of course we'll just have to evaluate it from there and see if it's going to hold or not, if we're going to see that bounce here. But this is basically a scenario that I'm talking about, is only if we get a nice close today below the 114.30. So keep your eyes on that one. But for now, as you can see, the pair is trying to recover. The bulls are trying to kind of push back above it. Let's see if the bears will allow it to do that. If we do stay above this one, looking at this 4-hour chart, keep your eyes on this 100 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, of course. Also, if we're gonna get a nice close here above that, then yep, I mean, next week we could see some more uprise, and which could lead towards the 114.95 zone, which was marked by the highs of the 23rd of October. And also you can see that it would potentially coincide here with the 200 EMA shown here as the black line. So quite an important level becomes this one, the 114.95. But again, for that to see, we would need to see initially, of course, a nice good close, not only above the 114.30, but also a nice good close here on the above the 100 EMA here shown on the 4-hour chart. And jumping into the last pair here, the USD CAD. Now this one is a good one as well, because we had a nice well, initially it was dropping here. As you can see, we had some weakness, but the NFPs came out, and of course the numbers were quite good. Let's put it that way. This is a simple way of putting it. And we're having this nice reaction here on the USD-CAD, where the pair is pushing higher here. The only problem is, again, this little short-term downside resistance line, or should I say medium-term downside resistance line, that in a way kind of continues to act like a magnet here, and doesn't like let go the pair too much from it. So what we're going to keep an eye on here is today on the well, we're going to keep an eye on the daily candle here, and how this daily candle is going to close, because if this is going to stay below the downside resistance line, then we potentially could see further declines. But for that, of course, for further declines, we would probably take a more cautious stance here and wait until this would probably drop below the 130.60 level. I was talking about this level here in the past in my previous videos this week. So in a way, keep your eyes on that one, keep your eyes on the 130.60. A nice good close below that could potentially open the path towards these lower levels, like the 130.12 or the 129.66. So but for now, as you can see, like I said, this medium-term downside resistance line kind of continues to attract the pair towards it. If this stays above it today, and we won't manage to break the 131.70 zone, still we should probably remain a bit cautious going into next week, because for us to get comfortable with the upper levels or higher levels, we would need to see this good break here above the 131.70, because only then we'll target higher levels like the 132.10 or even the 132.90. So in a way, like I said, it is a bit in limbo, I would say, this pair. And what we're going to do here is just going to stay put and wait for a break either to the downside here through the 130.60, or a nice pop here to the through the 131.70 zone. So for now, keep your eyes on that one. Be very careful, because like I said, we could have anything here today. So thank you very much for watching and listening, guys. I hope you found it useful, and I do apologize for the late start. So yep, if you want to join me on Monday, and that's 6 o'clock GMT time, 7 o'clock British Summer Time, and that's my Trader's Espresso. And like I said, we'll have a look at some new charts and see how the market performs on Monday. Okay guys, thank you very much, and bye bye.